Good morning and welcome back. If you are here, please do say hello. Just going to check I'm in the right place. So I'm here today sharing another card from my Pretty Perennials class. Okay, I'm in the right place. It's always good when you're in the right place. If you're joining me live, please do say hello. I'd love to know who's about. I'm just going to try and zoom in a little bit. Oh, why do I keep doing that? Sorry, you had a view of my ceiling again then. I don't know why it's doing that. Lost my train of thought then. If you're joining me live, please do say hello. It's always nice to know who's here. And if you are catching me on the replay via YouTube, I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like and enjoy the video. It's just good to grow the numbers. Oh, the Zoom, honestly, it's literally just catching up on my MacBook. And trying to Zoom when you're live is not an easy task. It kind of zooms in a million miles. Just going to adjust my light a little bit. Okay, so this morning you can see here the last two cards. So these are the first two cards that I filmed for this class. So there are 3 cards in total and also a box as well. So that the box will come in a separate video later. So it's focusing on the Pretty Perennials Stamp Set, and some of you have purchased kits in the post to create these projects along with me. So there are 3 options for this class. Now, even though booking has officially closed, there is nothing stopping you still ordering the stamp set. There's a beautiful set of dies that goes with it. This is the Pretty Perennials, or Perennial Petals either. Lovely die set. As I've explained in previous videos, there are dies that coordinate with stamps, but also what I call standalone dies that can be used just on your projects that don't actually necessarily coordinate with a stamp. So I think it's such a good set. I mean, look how many there are. There's loads of them, lots of possibilities with this set. And of course, when you purchase stamps and dies together, you save money as well. So that's always a good route to go down. So my class was £30 and included kits to make all of the projects. So pre-cut kits, die cut pieces, and also included the stamps and a couple of meters of the snail mail twine combo. So you've got Blushing Bride and the white. And obviously also you've got envelopes in your kits, and then you're getting the 4 videos to go along with it. Okay, so let's start. If you're stamping along with me, you will need today, let's bring in today's card. So it's this one with the pool party base. Okay, so we're going to be doing a bit of fussy cutting if you want to, and a bit of blending with a blending brush or a sponge, and we're not using any of the die cuts that go with the set today. So keeping it quite simple. So you'll need to pull out your pool party base, your card base. You'll know it's that one because I've scored down the middle. So I know in some of my kits I do pop in extra cardstock. I don't think this class includes it, so you'll know that this is the one that you're using. And then locate your brown bag. Yours will say pool party card base on it. So you know that the pieces inside are going to coordinate with this card. So today it's Saturday, 30th of January. Goodness me, where did that month go? That's quite scary. I can't believe we're going to be heading towards February next week. It's really wet and miserable here. We're almost flooded in because the main road that we use to head out is flooded over at the moment, and that is due to high tides as well. But there is a cut through. There's 2 cut through roads. One, I believe, is just passable. I mean, my car wouldn't get through it. It's too low. But there, and then there's another route that's also closed as well. So it's getting a bit tricky. And then they say we're going to have snow today. So I hope not. And I'm not being boring, but we've already had a bit of snow, and I just don't like the hassle that it causes on the roads. So, I mean, I do love a bit of snow. It does look pretty, but I just don't like the aggravation that it causes. So you've got a pear pizzazz layer. You will have a whisper white insert. I haven't got one here, but you've also got a white layer for the front of your card. I can see there's a couple of you here, so thanks for joining me. I'm just going through pieces that are in kits if you've just hopped on. Then we've got a small whisper white layer. This is for the front of our card. This is the one we're going to stamp kind of like our background on and do a bit of blending on. You've also got in your kit this little die cut panel as well, little edge on it, and then a skinny strip for part of your greeting. You will also need an extra bit of whisper white to stamp flowers and the word happy and things on. So let me just bring the cards back in for those who are just joining us. So this is the card I'm making today. The third one, so this is the third video in a series of 4 for this class. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to pull this piece out, pop those to one side for the moment, and I need a couple of scraps. So let's bring in my sponge mat. Because these stamps are photopolymer, it's highly recommended that we use a sponge mat. The one I'm using is from the Stamparator. I think it's something crazy like £2.75. It's a very thin foam mat, but it just does the job. It just gives you that extra bit of squidge that a photopolymer needs when you're stamping down. The colours I'm using for all of these cards are Pool Party, Pear Pizzazz, Blushing Bride, and then I'm also using some Early Espresso for greetings and centres of flowers and things. So let's start with a bit of stamping. We're going to need, and this one we're going to be cutting out, we need a large flower on a separate piece of paper. Now, keep your other piece that was in your kit, keep that to one side. We'll be stamping on that in just a moment, but you need a scrap piece just to do one flower on here. And this is the large solid flower that I'm using. Okay. Just checking, I just had something pop up. I might just try and zoom in a little bit more. Oh, I don't know why it turns my screen around. I'm not anywhere near the button to switch the camera. I'm going to leave it, guys. I'm not going to fiddle with it anymore. You don't need to see my ceiling anymore. Okay, and next we're going to mount up your happy word. Happy, happy. And we're going to stamp that one in Pool Party. So another scrap. I don't think I'm going to get that one. I might just get that on there. Yeah, I'm going to try and use that bit. I think there's enough room just for it to go on because I'm fussy cutting around this word happy. Now, if you are not a fussy cutter like me, that will work. If you're not a fussy cutter, because I'm going to be cutting this one out, and I'm going to be layering it here, on your white layer for the front of your card, you just need to stamp that word happy straight down there before any other layers go on, okay? So if you don't want to fussy cut, that's what you need to do before that layer goes down. Right, we're going to pop those to one side and then bring in the whisper white piece for, oh guys, I'm really sorry about this. I don't know why it's flipping my screen. I'm trying to click my screen to focus. It's been a bit glitchy today. I don't know why it's switching. Very bizarre. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm a bit far out and I'm just hoping that you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm just a bit far away, but I don't want to touch it again. Next time I'll zoom right in at the beginning and then we won't have to fiddle. Okay, so this piece here is this panel here on my card. It's a separate piece to that front layer. Okay, so I'm going to take my blending brush. So if you've seen my other videos for this class, you will see me use these. These are a new product that have just come out in the January to June mini catalogue. They're absolutely brilliant. They come in a pack of 3 and they're £11.25, I think. I want to say £11.25, not £11.75. So I think they're really good value. They're a really soft, bristled brush. They almost look like they're foam, don't they? But they're fabulous. And what I'm doing is keeping one brush for a colour. So I'll be using this one for all of my blues. And then I've got one that I've used for my pinks and one for my pale neutrals as well. And what we're going to do on here is just pick up some ink from the ink pad, take a little bit off, and then start in a circular motion on my grid and work on to my Whisper White. And we're just going to add a nice soft edge to this layer. And this will just make it pop out from the Whisper White layer that it's going to sit onto. Probably from what you can see, it doesn't look like this is making any difference. Oh, that was a bit heavy. I'm gonna have to try and blend that in a bit. Probably doesn't look that it's making a lot of difference. To be honest, I'm probably going to be covering that bit. This is what happens. I was trying to explain this in the last video. If you come on a bit heavy-handed, can you see this mark here? Not that little one. This blue heavy part. I just came on a little bit heavy without a circular motion. So I'm not going to worry about blending that in too much because we're going to be stamping over this layer. But I just want to even up the other side. Such a gratifying thing doing this. I don't know why, but just building up, and imagine building this up as an ombre. How fun would that be, and how great would that look? Okay, I think we are there. So if I hold that up to my white piece, you will be able to see how it does just pop away from the colour behind. Okay, let us do some stamping on here. Does look really bright. Hope you guys can see. Let me know in the comments if you're watching, because I can see there's some of you watching. Let me know if this is just too bright. Don't want to adjust my lighting too much. Okay, we're going to bring back in, let's pop that pool party to one side, and bring back in the big flower. So when I'm creating a background with stamps, it's always a good idea to start with a large stamp first and then fill in with your smaller stamps afterwards. So we'll just ink this up in the Blushing Bride, and I'm going to pop one flower over this side and then another one in the bottom corner, like so. Next, I'm going to use the little 4-petaled flower and just ink that one up and pop one down in this corner, like that. So I'm finished with both of those flowers for now. Oh, hiya, Sue. How are you, my sweetheart? You're saying it's fine, it's not too bright. Yeah, I think I need to just maybe have a look back at the replay and see how it comes. I always find with the replay, the quality isn't as good either. It's so hard to tell. When I'm looking on my phone at what you can see, it looks quite dark. And when I'm looking on my MacBook, it looks quite bright. So anyway, I'm just too fussy, aren't I? I'm too worried about whether it's good enough. Look at the state of my early espresso. I do have a couple of these. These are the really old style inks, and I've probably had this since I first joined Stampin' Up, and that was over 11 years ago. And it's still good to go. I still keep re-inking it. I will at some point. I am gradually working through all of my inks and replacing with these new style, because I have the lovely new storage system for them to sit in. So, and I want all of my inks to be together. So, and I like things to be organised. And when inks are in two places, it just takes more time to locate something. So the centres of the flowers, these big ones, I'm using the big one, the sun one. I call that the sun centre. And then the large cluster of dots. And the large cluster of dots, I'm just going to pop on this small flower. And then the sun one is just going to go in the middle of the large flowers, like that. Actually, while I've got this out, we can pop one in the middle of there as well. Now what I want to do is just fill in these little gaps. We're going to use some leaves for the big flowers first, and then whatever space is left, we're going to pop one of the small flowers in. So I'm using this solid leaf image. There is an outlined one. Let me show you. Excuse my arm. So you've got, this is obviously a two-step stamp set, and you can stamp this as a background and then this one over the top, which gives a lovely look. But I'm simply using just the solid one. Now my Pear Pizzazz, I re-inked it and it's quite dark, so I'm going to do these in second generation. So I'm going to take off some ink and then pop one in. So take off some ink. Got to be careful because I've gone over the edge. Where do I want one? Let's have one coming out of here, like that. And I think one or two up here. Like that. I know I keep saying this, but this stamp set is just so much fun. You can do so many different things with it. I mean, imagine that as the whole background of your card. It would be beautiful. You wouldn't need any pattern paper. So just to fill in these couple of gaps, and I'm probably going to stamp one over where my smudge was, I'm going to use this outline flower. Again, this has a solid stamp that goes with it. So this one here, so these two can be stamped together. And with the Pool Party ink, we'll pop one over here and one in there like that. And I think that is enough because I'm going to be popping a greeting up here. And let's just add some centres to those flowers. So this is the teeny tiny cluster of dots for the centre, like that. And then the mini leaves, there's a little mini pair of leaves that go nicely with this little flower. So we'll just ink those, stamp them off, and pop one in there, and one down here, like that. I think that's enough. I don't need to fill any more gaps. So that's that layer done. let's just pop my foam mat to one side. Now, I will quickly run this one through my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the baby boss as we like to call it. And I'm looking for the petal with the 3 bobbles and the die there, lined straight in. It just makes it easy for me to locate how it sits together, how they line up. Okay, I'm just going to run that through quickly. I do love that we have coordinating dies. There. Let's just push that one out without my washi tape pulling it. Use that bit later. And then we'll just fussy cut out. Now, as I said, let me just bring my card back in. If you don't want to do the fussy cutting, you can just stamp your word happy straight down onto this Whisper White layer. So let's have a little trim. I still haven't booked that eye appointment. And every time I do something close like this, I'm thinking I really should make that appointment. But I keep forgetting. I know that sounds daft. I think about it and then it goes out of my head. Does anyone else do that? Especially it's things that you really need to do. I don't write it down and put it in my planner. It's one of those things that I think about a lot. It's something I really need to do. But unless I actually put it in my planner, it doesn't get actioned. Because I'm like, I'll do that later. I'll ring them tomorrow. Whereas if I write it down on my to-do list, I have to keep rewriting it until I action it. Is anyone else a list writer? Do you like writing lists? Always cut that bit just a little too far in. So, got everything crossed that we're not going to have snow. We've had an awful lot of rain here. Woke up a few times in the night, which isn't great. Woke up and it was bang on 1 a.m, pouring with rain. Wide awake at 5. That's like the usual weekly thing. If you are fussy cutting this, don't be too worried if you're not that precise. This is sitting over a white background. So it's not going to show if you've done a bit of rough cutting. Okay, I think it's time to bring in our other pieces. So your pear pizzazz layer, and then your Whisper White front layer, not your insert. Your insert will be bigger. And the first thing to do is make sure that this is the same width as your front layer. As precise as I try and be with my cutting, when I'm cutting multiples of things, often there could be just a little bit of a difference. So we have to make sure that before we pop anything down onto this layer, that all of our edges, we haven't got any overhangs. So what we want to do first is adhere these two pieces together like this. So if we just pop some Tombow on here and just line those two in. Like that. And then we can pop this down onto our Whisper White layer. Now you could pop this on dimensionals if you want to. I'm not going to because I want to layer up my Pear Pizzazz layer. So let's line that up to start with. And then I'm going to line this up with one of my dotted lines on my grid paper. And that gives me a good indication that we're somewhere straight. I think we've got a little bit of an overhang. Let's have a look. Can you see a tiny amount? But I don't think it's really going to show. I might just shave a little bit off the edge. Not really going to show. I can get it any closer to shave it there. Just took that little edge off. And then that will just sit nicely on the Pear Pizzazz layer. So we can stick that one straight on. And then I'm going to pop some mini dimensionals behind here and layer this down onto my pool party base. So I've left Alfie over in the house this morning. He's been out for his run around the garden. I got absolutely soaked. It's so soggy out there. And of course he goes under all of the hedges, so it's not just his paws that get wet. His belly comes back soaked, his back is soaked, his ears are soaked. Such a task. I do enjoy the dry days of having a pet. He's a good lad. He knows that when he comes in the door, he's got to have his paws dried. And he stands there looking at me. He knows the routine. So I'm just going to layer this one down nice and evenly. I love how the blending with the blending brush just makes that pop out, gives it a bit of depth. So what we can do next is, I think we'll add in our happy, and I'm going to layer this one, surprise, surprise, on mini dimensionals. That one didn't stick where I wanted it to. Pull you carefully. I think we'll put another one on the end, and that should be enough to balance it. And I'm going to have this one just, actually before I stick it, let's think about where this flower is going. That'll be fine. You can stay there. You can stay there, happy. Let's just give this a bit of life, this flower, and figure out which way. So I can see that petal lines up with that. So a bit of Tombow on there. And just lay that one over the top. Bit of wiggle until it sticks. Next we need to just bring back in your foam mat and do a bit more stamping. So you've got some skinny Whisper White cardstock in your pack. Some skinny strips. I'm pretty sure I've popped a couple in. And I am using the birthday greeting today, so my card is going to say happy birthday. Now, those of you that have bought the stamps with me, you could use happy for you, happy mail, or you could lower the word happy a bit and put you make me happy on top of it. Or sending lots of happy. So I just think it's such a fabulous set, this one. Those of you that have bought it are going to have so much fun with it. I dunked my finger then. So let's try and stamp that one. I'm going to do another slightly lower. not to get my head in the camera. It's always tricky lining things in. And then I'm just going to snip off the end. Because my camera is right in the way of where I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So we've got our birthday and a couple of dimensionals behind there. So if you're just joining in, if you're hopping in, thanks for coming by. Do say hello if you feel happy to say hello. I'm sharing a third card today. This is a class in the post that I've posted out to people. There are 3 different options. You can purchase just the card kits on their own. And even though this class has now actually closed, I can still send out kits if you'd like to follow on from my videos, because all of these videos will be making their way over to my YouTube channel. I've popped one on there. Another one was downloading earlier, uploading even. So that will be going on later. And then once I've had a cup of coffee, I'll be back here later this morning to share the box with you. So we're almost done. We just need to add some twine and create a double bow. So the kits on their own are £15 posted, and you get all of the pre-cut card kits, the kit for the box, any die cut pieces that I've put in. You get a couple of meters of the twine, so a meter of each colour. But you obviously have to provide your own stamped images and cut things out yourself. There is an option to buy the die set along with this, and that will save you almost £5. Right, I'm just measuring length. I want to do a double bow, so I need 2 pieces that are the same length, and I just tie them together. So just straighten them out a bit. Yeah, so even if you're catching up on the replay, if you're on YouTube and we're not like 3 years down the line, then I can prepare you kits and pop them in the post. That looks a bit messy, but it will come together. Got a bit twisted. So hold both the loops. Got one loop longer than the other there. Just going to make it a little bit smaller. Like that. Now that one looks too small. That's better. And then just trim an even edge. Of course, you can still purchase this stamp set online with me, or if you are local, I do a delivery service like once a month. When I go out delivering some of my class in the post kits, then if you've got product ordered, then I can drop that off to you at the same time as well. So if you're local-ish, I kind of do Gloucester area and over towards Stroud as well. That's sticking to me. So yeah, just let me know if you'd like to order any of the products that I'm using. And of course, if you're shopping online with me and your order's over £30, don't forget to use my host code, because you will get a free gift and a hand stamp card in the post next month, or the month following your order. So I'm just going to pop, I've just rolled a glue dot, and I'm just going to pop that down and then place my double bow just there like that. And there we go, finished. I'm not doing inserts for these cards. Quite often, I do stamp an insert once I've chosen the card and who it's going to, depending on what words I want to put on the inside. But you know that I'm running low on my Whisper White, waiting for the new basic white cardstock to arrive. And then I'll be finishing all of my cards. So that's the third card made. Here's the other 2 for those of you that are stopping in, and I will be back really shortly with the box that goes with this class. So if you've got any questions, please get in touch with me. If you are watching on the replay via my YouTube channel, please, if you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button so that you get to see when I am posting new videos. And I'm going to go over and grab myself a coffee, and then I'll be back very shortly with some more stamping for you. So thanks to those of you who have joined, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Bye for now.